Welcome back to News 3 today at 11. This year, Savannah's White Bluff Presbyterian Church is celebrating its 280th anniversary. Starting this Sunday, April 27th, they will host a series of workshops culminating on May 17th with worship and a walking timeline of their history across the ages. Reverend Dr. John Rule is the pastor of the church. Mark Odell is a historian and the chair of the planning committee. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here today.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Well, first of all, this is fascinating for a church to have survived since 1745.
Been around a long time. Wow. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the history and its evolution.
Right. So the church was founded by two villages, Acton, which no longer exists, and had Swiss settlers that were escaping religious prosecution in Europe. And then the town of Wernigerberg, which still does exist, and it had German immigrants who agreed to an indentured servitude, served that out, and then were given land at the end of their time. And that was in 1737. And so immediately they began to petition for support from the Georgia trustees to establish a church in White Bluff. And that happened in 1745 when the trustees agreed to grant land to the community and also provide a minister that came from Switzerland, and that was Reverend John Zubley.
Wow, wow. Okay, so this is also the longest continuing Calvinist congregation in the state of Georgia. What does that mean?
Yeah, so that refers to John Calvin, who was one of the early reformers in the Protestant Reformation. And basically, it parses out in how the church functions and governs itself. Instead of a bishop or a pope, the church elects leaders from within. And so instead of that office, we have committees that do things, which is why our church in particular can take a long time to make decisions. But once we make a decision, it's a true community decision. And so actually the word Presbyterian comes from a biblical word which means elder. And so that's what we draw our identity from, is that idea that people are elected from within the church to be elders and to serve different functions and to hold the church together.
And so you have a very traditional type of worship, but you also try to establish a connection between the church and the community.
We do, and we're working on that today. You know, the church in its founding was known as the Meeting House up until 1945 when we officially became a Presbyterian church. And so as we look forward, we're also looking backward on lessons that we can learn and things that maybe we can reclaim and live into. And so today we're working on that idea of being a meeting house and instead of ministering to people, ministering with our neighbors. Yeah. And so that has bore out in partnerships with Family Promise, Neighbors Feeding Neighbors is a food pantry, Scouting of America, which used to be Boy Scouts of America, and Inspiritus, who used to be Lutheran Services, and locally they work with refugees in the community.
So Mark, how has the church changed through the years?
I mean, a big part of it is the people were able to hold on to their identity in the Reformed and then Presbyterian tradition. Yeah. But really, over those centuries, you have different migration patterns happening. And so the original Swiss and German settlers may have moved out of town and left the church, and then you have new people coming into that area of Savannah as it grows, you know, and initially was part of Chatham County. And then, so we see people coming, especially if you look at the 1940s when Hunter Army Airfield was an air base, and all these, you know, officers came and other enlisted people came and they joined the church, and it really grew during the 1950s and 60s because of that. So
you're inviting the community to come and join you in this celebration, which starts this Sunday,
This
correct?
coming Sunday, yes.
Okay.
We'll have a series of pastors who've served in the past. This coming Sunday is Claire Williams, who was an interim in the early 2000s. Eric Bean, who most recently served the church and then moved to California, is coming back. Then we have a couple broader, more open invitation to the community kind of events. The president of Columbia Theological Seminary is coming to host a forum about, we're calling it CPR, Community, Peace Building, and Repair. And then on the Sunday, he'll lead us in worship. And then, as you referred to earlier, May 17th is a community-wide celebration. Some of the aldermen of the community will be there to bring their greetings, and denominational people. And then we'll have the walking timeline in the church to take a view at as well. So.
All right, Reverend Rule, Mark, thank you so much for joining us today. So much information I did not know.
A lot to say.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
To learn more about White Bluff Presbyterian Church and their upcoming anniversary, visit our website, wsav.com/280th. Stay with us. You're watching News 3 Today at 11. We'll be right back.